welcome to TeachLBC Capital. My name is Justin Harmon, and in this brief video, we are going to cover a simple teaching idea based on learning science which you can immediately implement in your classroom. Today's activity is from James Lang's Small Teaching. Again, a book I very much recommend for our teaching practice here at LBC. And this activity is called Get to Class Early. And this is kind of fun because it happens before class starts. So you can hear your students groan in the distance as we talk about this. But this activity takes place 5 to 10 minutes before class starts as students are kind of filtering in your classroom. Here we have an opportunity to actually model and work through the emotional piece of learning. So emotions like curiosity and wonder can be modeled for your students because we know that the affective domain has a significant impact on students' cognitive abilities. So we have to pay attention to those pieces. So on the projector or the board, have a picture or a quote of the day. Think of something interesting in your discipline, something that is really fascinating to you, but you don't necessarily have time to cover it in class, and put that up on the board. Maybe it's a quote, a headline from the news, whatever it is. And sometimes you can even use physical objects or an audio clip of some sort. And you want to ask 2 questions. What do you notice, and what do you wonder? And so this is up, and the students are just talking about it as they filter in the classroom. So let that image or whatever it is guide an informal conversation before the official start of class, and then use it for a very brief discussion at the very beginning of class. So this activity works to activate their prior knowledge, helping them make connections to things they already know, and then have them make some predictions, and then you can really get into it. It really is an excellent way to start off your class. And this communicates to students that you not only view class time as valuable, but it's interesting and it's worth investing in. You can really impart your own passion for the discipline through an activity like this, and students love to engage with that. So, how do you implement this? Well, you've got to get to class a bit earlier because you have to be ready to roll before students arrive. You need to be ready to facilitate the discussion. So you're not sorting papers, you're not taking attendance at that moment. So that's one thing to consider. I do recommend writing 2 questions, what do you notice and what do you wonder, either on the board or they're on your PowerPoint slide with the picture. But have them on the board so students can see them so they know this is what we're talking about. And the more regularly you do this, the students will know that that's the expectation. And so make sure it's up visibly for them. Be sure to indicate as well to students that this isn't required, but you would love to have them come and engage that. So again, it's not official class, but then engagement will certainly be beneficial to their coursework. And so you communicate that to students. Now, online, it's a bit different because we don't necessarily have that strict starting time, right? So online, the updates area where you can post announcements of the eCampus could be a great place to regularly post these. Although you don't have class time, maybe once a week it's, here's my interesting piece of the week that I'd like to show you all because it's just so fascinating. And so again, ask those questions. What do you notice and what do you wonder about these things? Get students to try to make predictions and connect to previous understanding. An alternative approach online would be to have a weekly discussion forum, which is optional, but where you get to introduce these ideas and have students interact with them. So, what tools will help? This is pretty simple on campus. It depends on what you're showing students. It could be your projector and a slide with the picture, or speakers for an audio clip or something like that. So something along those lines. Online, again, a discussion forum or the updates feature are probably the best. So students can discuss on either one. So it depends on what you're currently doing in your online class, but you do want to communicate this is extra. So that's one thing to consider. But again, a very simple teaching idea that will help your students make connections, build on prior understandings, and begin to model those habits that successful learners have. So that was the Get to Class Early activity. If you have an idea you would like to share for TeachLBC Capital, please email me at jharbin@lbc.edu. Thank you.